Hi, I'm Annie. Today I'm going to talk about SI, introverted sensing. Ever since I got my official objective personality type, I've really been processing SI, which is my fourth function. So NE is my first function, SI is my fourth. My SI is also double activated and masculine. It's almost like a savior, but there's a lot of demon energy there. I have so much to say about it, so much to say about my growth with that bottom function, but so much of it carries a lot of demon energy, and so I've been kind of avoiding those topics. I can think of like half a dozen videos that I want to make about SI, and I keep not making them because I know that there's so much demon energy when I talk about it. Like, it's uncomfortable, it's ugly, it's embarrassing. So today I want to talk about the good things about SI, what I love about SI, because it's such an amazing function. So SI is just about narrowing down in the physical. It's about systems and orders of operation that you would put in place for efficiency. When I was younger, I thought it was kind of boring and tedious. I have lead NE, which is like crack to me. I love being in NE, thinking about possibilities, thinking about creative combinations, the connections between things. That is my happy space. SI is just kind of boring, putting things in order, devising systems to organize all that creativity and those possibilities. So my NE is great, but it creates so many possibilities that it's kind of chaotic, and it makes a lot of work for my SI to organize all that and to actually devise efficient systems to execute some of those amazing, wonderful, creative ideas in reality. I think when I was younger, SI was just like, whatever, not important. It's just not important compared to the creativity and the possibilities and the creative potential. But as I got older, I realized, you can't be an effective person without SI. You can't actually execute these ideas unless you're organized and unless you have systems in place to make you an effective person. And especially being self-employed, there is no way you can be self-employed unless you figure out SI. I've been going deeper and deeper into SI as I've gotten older, and even more so in the last year. And I feel like this is going to sound so obvious and stupid to people. Everything has a place, and I have been putting things back away where they go immediately. And I think that some people are like, yeah, like that's how you stay organized. In the past, I felt like cleaning and organizing was something that you did like once a week or once a month. You wait until things get really cluttery and they get really bad, and then you spend half a day or 3 days reorganizing. Now, the way that I'm doing it is just sort of always staying organized. I think that sounds really obvious, and it also just sounds really like Jordan Peterson, that like I discovered the power of SI, the antidote to chaos, which was the title of his book. He also has lead NE, and so that's something that we have in common, is having lead NE, and then SI is this discovery and this anchor that just blows my mind. It seems like it blows his mind too, and that's what he teaches, is like, clean up your room, put things in order. You can be a more effective a person with SI. So you're thinking like, seriously, that's your big revelation? Put shit back where it goes? Like, yeah, I used to not do that. So I would even read that and understand it intellectually, like find a place for everything and put shit away. And I would be like, oh yeah, great. That was just my consume. I would consume that or whatever. But then I never put it into practice. And so what I've really been doing is owning that, practicing it. And I think that's true with like so many things that we learn, maybe especially if you're lead consume, you're like, self-improvement, betterment. If that's the kind of thing you're into consuming, you're stuffing your head with, all this really wonderful advice. But unless you are practicing those things in the physical, in a practical way, it's just useless. It's not going to change your life. All these wonderful things that you learn unless you actually put them into practice. So I've lived in this weird situation for over 10 years now. I have this space here. I know I've repeated this before in past videos, so this could be boring for some people. I have 500 square feet here. next door is about 400, 420, and that's where I live with my partner. I sleep and eat over there. Our dogs live over there. There's a nice greenhouse. It's, you know, it's small, but we make it work. And then I have this space over here. So between us, we have, you know, a little over 900 square feet, but it's just split up. And over the years, I've used this space for a lot of different things. I used to have my massage therapy practice here, and then I got this amazing, very professional massage therapy space downtown, and I really enjoyed having that separation. So then I was using this space just for art and creativity. Well, I opened my Etsy store a few years ago, so this was just an art studio. I had my downtown office, but then when the pandemic came along, I gave up my office right away because I didn't want to be wondering, like, when will this end? You know, I didn't want to pay money to rent that place since I wasn't allowed to work for several weeks, you know, a few months. So I just pulled the plug on that downtown office right away. And I'm so glad that I did, because I know so many of my colleagues just sort of strung their offices along, paying for rent, waiting for the state to open up again. And then when it did open up, it's like things are different. You know, it's not as busy as it used to be in massage therapy. I spent the shutdown remodeling this space. I resolved to share it with my massage therapy practices. I have my art space here, massage therapy over there. I don't love sharing it, but I feel so lucky that I have that option. It's really makes a lot of sense. I'm saving a lot of money by doing that. The other really great thing about it is that it forced this SI to become more refined. When my clients come over here, it's got to be tight. It's got to be super professional. Because I had such a professional situation downtown, I'm kind of self-conscious about this space. I'm really aware of making it as nice and professional as possible. I feel like to instill confidence in my clients so that they know that I'm doing the very best I can, I'm keeping everything polished and clean. When I first started inviting clients to come over here, I noticed that I was really like worried about it being super clean and getting everything just so. And it was also taking me way too long to clean up for one appointment. And I found that I was spending like a good 90 minutes getting ready for an appointment that lasted 90 minutes. So this was just not an efficient use of my time. So I started dialing in the SI more and more and really refining it to make it quicker and easier to get ready for these appointments. I started looking at my systems and making the systems more and more efficient and logical. I would just notice anywhere there's any kind of friction and try to eliminate that. A few things that I've noticed: it's not about cleaning up and organizing once. It's about constantly reevaluating your systems. So you can put a system in place and it might work for 6 months, but you keep checking in and you say like, my habits are a little bit different now, or my circumstance has changed. So this system needs to be changed a little bit because they're starting to get a little bit of friction. The system is stale. It's not really working as well as it used to. So you make some changes and you update it. And the other thing that I've noticed is that it really is easier to just put things away immediately. Earlier today, I was walking out of my door to go over to my partner's house to check on the dogs, and there was something bulky in my overalls, in my pockets. It was these like hair tie thingies. My first instinct was like, put them on the table beside the door, and when I get back, I'll put those away. I, dropped them down on the table like briefly, and then I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna put them away right now. And that seems kind of silly. Like maybe that isn't efficient. Like what's the big deal? Leaving those on the table and coming back and putting them in the drawer in the bathroom where they go later on. Not a big deal. It's all these little things. If you have like 100 little things like that, that's how everything gets junky. Everything in here really, really has a home. I've been putting things away when I'm done. When I leave this space at night to go eat dinner and go to sleep over next door, I just kind of check in and make sure things are picked up. And that means that when I have a massage therapy appointment and someone's coming over, I can like work on my crafts and my Etsy stuff until, you know, like 30 minutes before the appointment or 45 minutes. And then I just do a quick like dusting from top to bottom, wiping all the surfaces, you know, vacuuming and wiping the floors. There really is some truth to the idea that your physical surroundings are a reflection of your inner mental state, or that being in a really clean, organized space can give you mental freedom. I feel a sense of freedom. You know, as I'm doing my work, I'm glancing around the room. Like when I'm giving a massage, I'm glancing around the room and I might see something catches my eye and I think like that could be better. Like the other day I was giving a massage and there were some cords that were underneath a table that were kind of chaotic. I thought, I'm going to do that next. I'm going to make that better. So I organized all the cords and tacked them up in such a way that you couldn't see them. And it's so much better. Even just little things like that, seeing tangled cords or having things be like crooked. You know, we all make fun of people that make sure that everything is at right angles. You know, you have some shit on your desk and you make it straight so everything's at a right angle. And we say like, that's OCD, like that's uptight. Maybe you could be OCD, like an OCD person might do that. But also you could be someone who is, you know, finally discovering SI and using SI and seeing the beauty in it. So for me, I don't feel really uptight about the right angles. I just like it. It gives me this sense of relaxation and freedom and control of, you know, being in control of my space. And it really frees up mental space for me to work more effectively and feel more joyful while I'm working. And even my little ceramics space over here, I have a little kitchenette where I do ceramics work. My clients never see that. They don't see that workspace at all. I've been recently just cleaning it up every day. There's a phase where I'm making these little things and then I have to do the finish work and then I put them in the first firing in the kiln. Then I clean up my workspace completely because I know that I'm going to be glazing the next day. And in the past, I would have just left all the clay stuff out, the tools that I was using when I made the little earrings. The workspace would be kind of messy, but I would be like, whatever, doesn't matter. And I would just like pull out my glazes, pull out even more tools and then get to work on glazing. It was chaotic. It wasn't a pleasure to work in that situation. And then also sometimes it affects the work. When your workspace is really, really clean, especially with something like ceramics, all of that precision matters, especially with the kind of work that I do that is very, very precise. We're watching the 3rd season of the Great Pottery Throwdown. Is that what it's called? It's like the same formula as the Great British Bake Off, but it's ceramics. And there's this one girl, I think she's probably lead SI maybe, but she's so clean. She cleans up her workspace and she's very precise and clean in her work. And I have a really good feeling about her. There's a really, a lot of good contestants on that season. It's season 3, but it's just the fact that she's careful and she keeps her workspace clean. You can see how much of a difference that it makes because the other potters are having a messy workspace and it's chaotic and they're getting really frazzled and they're like accidentally knocking stuff over and breaking stuff. That's what happens when your workspace is messy. And so I'm like, I'm excited. I'm like shouting this from the mountaintops right now. And it's basically just like put shit away when you're done using it. So I know this probably sounds really ridiculous to people, but that's what I've been thinking about. And this is me talking about SI in a happy state. And I feel like these other videos that I need to make about my more like awkward, icky demon shit with SI, there's quite a few of them. And I think I just need to make them and get them out of my system. And, you know, I apologize for that in advance because people might get sick of demon energy and hearing me like agonize about weird little SI things, but I think I really need to do it. But anyway, that is what I love about SI. I don't know. Let me know what you think. It's pretty obvious stuff.